Yes, it's John G. Sutton here. Tales from the jails. We'll talk today a little bit about HM Prison Liverpool, originally known as Walton Jail. Walton Jail was built in 1855, which is a little bit before Strangeways, because Strangeways was built in 1868. Currently, Walton Jail is a Category B prison, and it holds, or it's scheduled to hold, 1,370 inmates. It was originally the site of executions, and Walton Jail saw 62 people being executed there, and they are undoubtedly buried within the grounds of the prison somewhere, so who knows where that is. It's been classed as being in great trouble during the 1990s and the early 2000s, because it was considered to be a rat-infested, cockroach-inhibited, dirty dump. I have been into Walton Jail, 1981, I believe it was. I did a 3-month course there in the hospital unit to become a hospital officer, and my experience at the prison is that it was filthy. You went onto the wings, and the inmates had just thrown the food on the floor. It was the inmates who were doing it, not the staff. That wasn't my first experience of Walton Jail, though. Around about 1979, I was heading the breakaway trade union, the Prison Force Federation, and I was asked to go and speak to the staff of Walton Jail with a view to discussing why we could not allow managers to run the trade union, because that's basically what the Prison Officers Association was. It was a tool of management, run by management, for management. I mean, you've got to say, oh, well, no, it wasn't POAs representing the officers. Really? What kind of a trade union would enter into an agreement with management to make all overtime compulsory, so that you did your straight 40 hours, and then if they were short of staff, they could order you to work at the weekends or at nights or at bank holidays without you didn't have any choice. To breach that, you would be subjected to disciplinary action. And the Prison Officers Association, not just at Walton Jail, but at Strangeways and Wormwood Scrubs and generally throughout the prison system, the Prison Officers Association had agreed that with management. Now, only management would consider that to be beneficial, not the standard prison staff. And the standard prison staff were being ordered to work on an average 60 hours per week. And the reason that the prison staff allowed themselves to do that was because the original pay was so bad that they had to make their living wage up by working overtime. There's method in the government's madness, the method in the Home Office, and the management. They knew what they were doing. Pay them a small wage and let them boost it up by working overtime, and we've got them working at half rate. That's the pay rate, by the way. And that's what they did. And anyway, when I was scheduled to speak at Walton Jail, or HMP Liverpool, the governor, the chief officers, and the committee of the Prison Officers Association ordered a big meeting. Everybody, all the uniformed staff were called together, and they were warned by the chairman of the Prison Officers Association and by the chief officer that in the event that any member of staff at HMP Liverpool attended the meeting that I was holding in Liverpool that night, they would be dismissed from the Prison Officers Association, expelled, and that they would then be unable to work at Walton Jail because Walton Jail was a closed shop. Now, what kind of a trade union would do that? The POA did it because the Prison Officers Association was then, and may be today, I don't know, but may very well be today, nothing more than a tool of management. But Walton Jail, as I say, built in 1855. The last execution there was in 1964, I believe. And there was a total of 62 executions. Number of infamous inmates, one being the playwright and poet Brendan Behan. I particularly like Brendan Behan. He wrote a play called The Queer Fellow. Also was famous for writing poetry, and I will sing you one of his songs that was put to music, after this. He was for a while in New York, and he stayed at the Chelsea Hotel. Chelsea Hotel's famous, for having celebrity guests. It's in New York, and one of them, previous to Brendan Behan, was Dylan Thomas. I like Dylan Thomas as well. I'll read you one of his poems soon. As I was young and easy under the apple boughs. That's at the start of Fern Hill, by the way. But no, I'm going to sing you the adaptation of Brendan Behan's poem, The Old Triangle, which is about Mountjoy Jail in Dublin. So I have to do the duty here. I hope you've enjoyed that little rant about Walton Jail. It's a dirty, filthy, stinking, horrible, rat-infested dump, or it certainly was when I was there. So there you are. You've heard the song, Dinger. If you don't want to hear the song, now is the time for all good men to leave the room. Here we go. This is The Old Triangle by Brendan Behan. A hungry feeling came o'er me stealing, and the mice was squealing in my prison cell, and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. To begin the morning, a screw was a-bawling, get up off your bowsy and clean up your cell. And the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. The lags were sleeping, Humpy Gussie was creeping, as I lay there weeping for my girl Sal. And the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Up in the female prison there are 75 women. 'Tis among them I wish I did dwell. Then the old triangle could go jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. There you have it. The Old Triangle by Brendan Behan. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed this little Tales from the Jails. Don't forget, folks, get the book. You've got to get this. It's a world bestseller. We'll see. Don't forget, 7th of November with Sean Hatwood on his True Crime channel, 6 p.m. See you then.